In this video, we're going to talk about how to run a successful political campaign. What is a successful political campaign? Well, in my book, that means when you win an election. I'm going to explain how it's done. I'm going to explain what the winners have in common. I'm going to help you understand how you can do what they do in order to win the election that they won. Stay with me. There are two essentials of success if you want to have a political campaign. And I'm not going to talk about every moving gear in a political campaign. In fact, I'm not even going to get into the weeds with every moving gear. But I'm going to tell you the two things that must be right in order for you to have a successful political campaign. The first one is a message, and we'll do a deep dive into that. And the second thing is how you choose to advertise your message. If you do those two things well, you're 80% of the way there. What is a campaign message? Well, what are you going to do if you get the job? If somebody asked you why you're running, what is your answer? If you could wave a magic wand once you've won the election, what are you going to use your newfound power to accomplish? It's called a campaign message, but it's more than just that. So I'm going to have a seat, and you can pretend that I'm a voter. And I'm going to ask you the questions that I'm going to expect you to tell me in the course of a campaign. Number one, sir or ma'am, what makes you qualified? Number two, what can you tell me about your values and your notions of right and wrong so that I know your values are in sync with mine? And number three, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for my family? What are you going to do for my community and my state? Four, is there something you can tell me that lets me know I can trust you about the real reason you're doing this? Something that lets me know that you're deeply committed to the stuff that you're telling me you want to do? Just so I know I can trust you when I'm not paying attention to you. Last question, sir or ma'am. What makes you better than your opponent? Why you and not your opponent? Voters don't ask the way I just did. But if they knew to ask, those are the 5 questions every voter expects you to answer during the course of a political campaign. And, of course, the one they're most interested in of all of that is what are you going to do for them? What are you going to do that will improve the quality of life? If there's some sort of injustice going on in your community, what are you going to do to fix that? If there's some egregious wrong happening somewhere, what are you going to do to right that? What policies are you going to advance that would save me some money, or come up with a program that I think is necessary, or make my schools better for the children that I attend? It is that it will end up being the flour of the cake that you bake that we call this campaign message. It's kind of what it is. Main ingredients and minor ingredients. But the most important one, and the ones that voters will want to hear the most about, is what you're going to do for them. That, my friends, is a campaign message. The second consideration after you come up with this wonderfully compelling and passionate message that you're about is deciding how you're going to disseminate that message to the public. Now, sure, there are really, really inexpensive ways to do that. Put them on a website. It doesn't take a lot to put up a website these days. Just make sure you got some nice pictures. You could produce a video. You can do them cheaply, or you can do them but make an investment. But I can tell you, the better the video, the better impression you'll make. But put your message, tell voters in 90 seconds, maybe a couple of minute videos, exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it and what it means to them. You can get some volunteers, and they can go knock on doors. They can pass out literature at malls. They can stand on street corners. They can put up yard signs, what have you. That's the inexpensive way to do something. But if you're running in a jurisdiction where you need any more than 3,000 or 4,000 votes to win an election, you have to do more than door-to-door, one-on-one contact, because otherwise you'll run out of time. And that's where you have to resort to paid advertising to help you disseminate your message. So here are the big ones. One is digital media, social media. Of course, great for organic posts that may get a lot of reach and a lot of shares, but you can easily advertise with Facebook and YouTube, and actually it's usually a pretty good bargain to do it that way. Then we get into the other things like radio and persuasion mail and different kinds of television. There's over OTT, what we call over the top. There's CTV, which is connected TV. There is cable television, network advertising, and then there is commercial advertising. Now, if you're running in a fairly compact, small jurisdiction, you're probably not going to want to bother with commercial TV because it's used more frequently in Senate races and gubernatorial contests. But you will have uses for the other kinds of television. Now, why do I mention these? Nobody is going to wake up, I don't care how good your message is, nobody wakes up in the morning in search of your website to try and figure out what you stand for because they've thought to check you and your opponent before they vote. No, you kind of got to let them know that you're there. And it's what I call affirmative advertising. If you take a lackadaisical approach to this, nobody's going to hear your name. You got to get in front of their face, in front of their eyes, and into their ears for them to get your message. Now, it's called advertising just like we market cell phones and car batteries and anything else. You got to let them know you're there. You got to let them know what they get from you. You got to let them know what they get from you that they will not get from your opponent. That's how you broadcast elements of your campaign message, and frankly, there is no other way around it. How do you pay for that advertising? Well, yeah, we have to have a really serious talk about money. I know that's a turnoff to some people, but money makes the world go around. That doesn't make it evil. It may be used for evil purposes, but money is not inherently evil. It's the way we trade goods and buy products. It is the way we advertise in political campaigns. And if you're serious about winning an election and you're serious about having a budget for that advertising campaign, then you need to be involved in raising the money to do it. Now, where's the starting place? I'll tell you right now what your lowest hanging fruit on the money tree is. It's people who already know you, people who already like you, people who already respect the person you are, who think that you are a person of character, who would do a good job if they were elected to public office. It's the easiest money to raise. Now, where do you find these people? Well, check that mobile contact list of yours. Check your Facebook friends. Go take a look at your LinkedIn friends. That is a good place. There are people who are close friends, and you've got people who may not be close friends, but they know you and like you. That's a starting place. There are 6 other ways that you can raise money in a political campaign, and I'll just touch on a few of them. One is what we call surrogate fundraising. So suppose you're running for an office and your best bud in town is someone who has done well in life, who already has a lot of money and already knows of people, other people who have money. And he's got a whole bunch of friends in his contact list, people that you don't even know. Well, maybe your best bud could call a few of these people that he's friends with and say, hey, could you give my friend, she's running for state rep, would you give my friend $400? I gave her $1,000. I'm asking you for $400. Would you do that as a favor to me? That's called surrogate fundraising, and it's done in campaigns quite often, more than we know. In fact, nobody runs for president in the country anymore without surrogate fundraisers who do that. The third source of raising money that you might want to think about is email. Text messages, email, text messages. I must be connected because 4 times a day, sometimes 8 times a day, I get a text message from a certain candidate running for the United States in Montana. I've never given him money. I may someday. But boy, is he aggressive about letting me know that he's there and why he needs it and why he thinks that he has earned at least $3 from my credit card. I constantly get emails from politicians looking for money. Well, guess what? You know why I'm getting these? It's because they work. Text messages cost money. And in some way, emails cost money too. And they're using these tools because they're making more money from these tools than they're spending to employ them. Next thing to consider is an old thing called direct mail fundraising. You know, there are people who still give a lot of money to candidates who don't use a credit card and don't do it online. They tend to be a little bit older, but they've never learned to trust the internet, but they are senior citizens. They are an elderly population that won't respond to a text message, but they'll read every word of every letter that you send them about why you need their help to advance this cause that may be near and dear to them. There are three others I'm going to mention here. We call one cocktail parties. You got a friend that wants to get 15, 25 people at their house, charging $25 to come to a little cocktail party where you are the guest speaker. That's what a cocktail party is. There are what we call dinner parties. This is where you may have a very well-heeled friend who wants to invite 5 couples that are very well-heeled and ask them for a 4-figure check for the privilege of spending 2 or 3 hours with you, is you try and convince them that you really, really should be in this office. Now, how does that pay off if they've already given money to come to the dinner as a favor to the host who's sponsoring it? Here's a truth about people who have money. They know other people who have money, and they know other people who have money that you don't. Why do a dinner party? I once saw a U.S. Senate candidate that did a party with 5 couples. They gave him $2,000 at the dinner. But he so convinced them that he was worthy of their support that they in turn went out and started talking to their wealthy friends and got him to give a check. And they in turn started talking to their friends. And at the end of the day, he kept track of what came in as a result of that dinner. By the end of the campaign, he had raised $50,000 because of one dinner, because of word of mouth that spread. The final thing I'll mention here to you is what we call celebrity fundraising. Last year, I did an event with a client of mine, and he's in Arkansas. I've never lived in Arkansas, and there are things about that culture I don't know, and I just took his word for it. He says, I got a buddy who is a world championship wrestler, and he's agreed to be the guest of honor at my fall banquet. Aren't you happy for me? And of course I said, of course I'm happy for you. And I actually went out there to help him with the dinner, to set it up. I was there in the audience. I wanted to observe it, and wouldn't you know, he filled that room with 300 people, all of whom came to get that wrestler's autograph and take a picture with the wrestler. He filled the room. He sold out tickets for that event in 48 hours. That is what you call a celebrity event. So do you know someone who's a wrestler, an athlete, a basketball player of some kind, a singer, an author, somebody who's been in a movie? Have a celebrity event. And if you don't know any celebrities, why, put together your own dog and bean family chili dinner, invite all your friends, and all the kids eat free, and the couples get in for $15, and you've had a big event. Now, I saved the best for last. The one thing absolutely you should do, especially if you're running for the first time. Do not try and do this on your own. Get some help from somebody who's done it before. Get some help from somebody who's been on a campaign staff, because they will show you things that will save you a lot of time and cut the size of your learning curve. If you want to talk to somebody who's been through a lot of campaigns and is pretty generous with his time, get in touch with me. The link to that is below this video. If you want to talk to me, I'll answer any questions you may have. I'm not going to pitch you to hire me. This call is free. So, Those are ways that you can get help if you don't know anybody in your community. I'm also going to do one other thing today. My free gift to you is a detailed video on how to raise money in a political campaign. I just gave you a snapshot and told you the ways, but I go into a deep dive on that video, some of the stuff that I've learned having done this for about 40 years of my life. I've seen every trick in the book. I've helped candidates raise millions of dollars, and I share some of my best tips in that video. Go watch it.